Welcome everyone to the present moment. These 3 skills that I'll share will really help you drag your brain from freaking out about things that are not here and now in the past or into the future, and bringing your brain back to the safety of the present moment. Today, we're going to do the very first one of those 3 activities in the present moment is called expanded awareness. Expanded awareness was a fantastic technique which I've used myself and I've taught my students and my clients. I've taught them because this is so valuable. Now, the expanded awareness model is actually an activity that gets your brain into the learning state, fully present, so that you can really begin learning. But what I found when I did this is it actually dragged my brain back to the present moment. Now, the value of this is that whilst it's great for getting people who are about to learn something, when you're teaching them something, but it's fantastic for getting your brain back to the present moment, for reducing anxiety. And I found this for myself. When my brain is overthinking and I'm racing, I can do this activity, and I've learnt in such a way that I can do it that nobody knows. I could be on a bus, a train, I could be sitting at traffic lights, I could be as long as I'm in a safe environment and I'm stationary, I can do it just for a few moments, and I can drag my brain back to the present moment, which generally cuts off the thought process that leads to the emotion that leads to the fight or flight, emotional, anxious response. So, let's do some activities now to help you with expanded awareness. Okay, let's do it. Expanded awareness. Very simple activity. Now, this activity will be to train your brain to get back to the present moment. And what we're going to do is we're going to use your eyes to get your brain back in the room. Sounds good, doesn't it? And when we do that, your anxiety will drop, because no longer are you out in those thoughts that are holding your anxiety. You are right here and you are right now. And most of the time, that's a pretty safe place to be. And now we'll do our first activity. What I want you to do is to look at a point on the wall in front of you. Maybe there's a feature on the wall. You can focus right in on one focal point. It might be a book. It might be a letter on the title of that book. It might be a monitor. It might be the corner of the monitor. As long as your brain and your eyes can focus on that point. Okay, have you got the point? Excellent. So now you've got that point, looking straight at the point, I want you to raise your hands. And I want you to just notice your fingers in your peripheral vision whilst you're still looking at that point. Never take your eyes off the point. And start wiggling your fingers. And I just want you to notice both sides at the same time in your peripheral and play around with it. Bring them out to the side and around and up and down, still looking at that point. Don't take your eyes off that point. Wiggle those fingers. And what you're doing is you're using your eyes to drag your brain back to the present moment. Looking straight at that point. That's it, you're doing great. And then bring your fingers out to the side. Wiggling those fingers. And notice those fingers wiggling. Some people shake from side to side. They do this, they do that. As long as you can see both sides in your peripheral moving at the same time whilst you are looking straight ahead. That's a great job. Now, what I feel when I do this, I feel sensations in the body. I feel my brain and my eyes, I start to notice everything my brain was deleting out of my field of vision. I start to see everything in front of me, in my periphery. I start to notice things on the desk down there. I start to notice the book on the bookshelf over there, whilst I'm still looking straight ahead. Just for a few moments, I want you to notice the feelings in your body. I want you to notice the strange feeling as your brain gets back to the present moment. And relax. Okay, shake it out. Move yourself around a little bit. How does that feel? Feels great, doesn't it? Now, what I find is that whatever I was worried about, my brain gets dragged back to here and now. And I tell you what, it's good for relationships, guys. If you're the sort of guy like me, your brain wanders off when you're talking to your partner, I can do expanded awareness without the fingers. I'll show you that in a moment. And I can just notice what's to the left of me and what's to the right of me, and all of a sudden I start to come back to the room where I was running away thinking about 10,000 things. And so if you're not present in your communication, you're not present with your partner or people at work or friends, use expanded awareness to get you back in the room. But here's the big caveat. Do not do this in public. Everybody will freak out. They won't know that you are doing expanded awareness. They just think, oh my God, who is this guy? He's a bit weird. Lock him up. No. What we're going to do is we're going to do it again. We're going to start with the spirit fingers. That's what my mentor called it, was spirit fingers, through one of his students, because it's a bit weird. And this little technique has a whole lot of other micro applications as well. But for the purposes of anxiety, it gets my brain and my clients' brains back into the room. This is the big lesson. Okay, so how did you go? Was that a good experience? That was round 1. Let's do a little bit more. Round number 2 now, and we're going to practice that and get your brain back into the room, but then we'll start to drop our fingers, so that this is the part where you can start to do this by yourself on the train in public and nobody will know. So let's train your brain and your eyes a little bit more, and then we'll try and drop the fingers and then see if you can notice colors to the left and colors to the right whilst looking at that focal point. Okay, are you ready? Here we go. Looking at that focal point, whatever that point was that you're able to concentrate on. Looking straight at that point, fingers up, wiggling those fingers, start near the front. Expand your awareness around to the side. And keep going until you start to get that strange sensation, looking straight ahead, wiggling those fingers or shaking them or doing whatever you need to do for this side and this side to be showing up in your peripheral at the same time whilst looking at that point. Now drop your hands, looking at that point still, and notice what's to the left of you and what's to the right of you. I want you to notice the blind I can see on this side. I've got a window and a blind on this side, and on this side there's a doorway. And I can just kind of make out the frame, and then next to that there's another opening. Over here I think there's a bookshelf and there's some books. I can see several of the shelves. Really notice the things looking straight at that point in your periphery, all around the room. Notice things on both sides. And if you're in public sitting on a seat, you might notice if people walk by on both sides. And what I find is when you get movement on both sides, it drags your brain really quickly back to the present moment. Just a few more moments. And let's snap out of it. Shaking it all up. How was that? Did you enjoy it? I love expanded awareness. It drags my brain back into the room. I'm not chasing those negative thoughts, catastrophic thinking, overthinking, super fast thinking. No, no, no. I am back in the room with the person or with the situation that's in front of me. I hope you enjoy expanded awareness. Try it out. Go home. Try it at home. Teach your kids, teach your wife expanded awareness, bringing your brain back to the present moment. It reduces my anxiety for sure, and it's helped many of my coaching clients just to give them something to control their brain back to the present. Certainly, I've had some even with public speaking, where I've been helping them with their public speaking, and it really has helped calm them just before getting on stage, just before you walk up to speak in front of a group, maybe even just before you go and ask that girl or guy out on the date, or go for that job interview. You think about it. If you can get yourself into the present moment and calm yourself down, you'll not be attaching yourself to the negative thoughts. That's expanded awareness. That's skill number 1. I hope you enjoy it. Go and practice it. And we might just revisit this later in the course.